Hello, welcome to Aeroshift channel. Today I'm going to talk about airworthiness directives. So a small video introducing you to the topic of airworthiness. I'll explain what, why, when, how of the airworthiness directives briefly, and then I'll go through the airworthiness directives in the websites from FAA, EASA, and also DGCA quickly. So let me share my screen. So here is the topics that I'm going to just cover today. So first of all, what is an airworthiness directive? So airworthiness directive is a legally mandated issued by an aviation authority. So today we're going to talk about or look at three regulatory, so FAA, EASA, and DGCA, and that is issued to correct a known unsafe condition in an aircraft, engine, propeller, or an appliance. So any one of them. So why those airworthiness directives are issued? They exist or they issue because an unsafe condition has been identified in the aircraft, and if it is left unaddressed, that compromises the safety of the aircraft. So there is some action that need to be done. It may be inspection or it may be a modification. Then how is it done? It is done through a mandated action, as I just said, through whether it could be an inspection, repair, replacement, it could be a limitation, and it should be carried out in accordance with specified procedures, and all those should be documented in the records management. We'll have a look at one of the ADs just to give you kind of what needs to be done and when this needs to be done. I mean, when is the action need to be taken when an AD is issued? So the AD will tell what is the compliance requirements. So what are the flight cycles, flight hours, calendar days, and whether it is a one-time inspection or is it a repetitive inspection. So all those details will be captured in the Airworthiness Directive. So now I'm going to briefly look at three websites, and I will explain you how to look at the AD and the topic as I selected earlier, how to get best out of them, especially the regulatory body FAA, who publishes more details compared to other regulatory bodies based on my personal experience. So first I'll look at the FAA website. So the website that you need to look, with the links I in the comment in the description section. So it is a DRS website, so the Dynamic Regulatory System. When you can click on the Airworthiness Directives, you can look at the AD final rules, wherein it publishes all the final rules, ADs that have been published over the last few years. So you can download all of them, and also you can look at individual ones when you scroll down here, or you can do a search option here. So I'll just select the latest one that is there on, as you can see here, and then let us see what that information it contains. So when you click on that link, it opens another tab, and that gives you a bit more description here. And if I look at here, so this particular AD is applicable to Airbus helicopters listed here, and it is referring to an old AD here, requiring inspection to updating in existing maintenance records, because there is a airworthiness limitation item that is applicable to that particular aircraft. So now what they have found is, after issuing the old AD, a determination was made that more airworthiness limitations are necessary. So that is why this new AD is issued to update the old airworthiness ALI information for those applicable helicopters. So that is the information here. So the part 39 airworthiness bit. So here is what effective date. That means when this AD needs to be or coming into force. So they give advanced warning, as you can see here. And if it affects any of the old ADs, that is captured here as affected ADs, is applicability, what aircraft does it apply to, and the subject, obviously, what topic of it, whether it is any particular ATA chapter or does it affect the entire aircraft. So as you can see here, it affects the time limits and maintenance checks of that particular configuration or the aircraft. And more importantly, what is the unsafe condition? So the unsafe condition here is that the investigation found that there needs to be more restrictive airworthiness limitations. That is why they are issuing this. So in this particular one, probably you may not get all the details here. And so what are the actions that need to be done? It is captured here. What is the terminative action? If you want to do an alternative method of compliance, what are the approaches that you need to take? So that's the information that is there. So the AD tells you that you have to, there is an maintenance update for this particular group of helicopters. Now I want to find out a bit more information behind that. So FAA fortunately produces a bit more information in the form of these dockets. So if I take that docket and visit the other website of the regulations.gov, what I can do is I can search for it, and I get a bit more information. As you can see here, so this is the information that is presented within that particular docket number, wherein there are a lot of MSM documents. Let's see what they are. I'll open one of them. And if I see here, so as you can see here, this is the airworthiness limitation section, one of the section that has been published within the docket. And it gives you the information that is required for the operators to take it and implement it. So that's the contents there. Um, that's the revisions. Let's go to the actual contents and just have a quick look as to what they are. So here it is. So for chapter 25, if there are any limitations, what is the type of limitation that is there? I'll go to the structures aspects and see what they are. There is one for the mains rotor mast. So it gives you the component, the part number, and the limitation. What limitation is there from the maintenance point of view? So that's a limitation. Again, the terminology between different OEMs is different, so you might have to go into the understand the documentation a bit more to know a bit more about the details of it. But as you can see here, there are components and there are limitations that are published to be followed by the operators. So that's an information in one of the documents. As you can see here, it can be quite a comprehensive document, and there are more documents that are published here. And these generally contain quite a very good information for engineers to kind of improve your knowledge of understanding of the structure, systems, the maintenance aspects, and various other things. So I'm not going to go into the details of all of them. So what I will do is probably I'll just pick up another AD a little bit down rather than helicopters. Let's see if I can find one for the aeroplanes. So that's for the Boeing one. I want to pick up something for the structures. So Airbus wings. Okay, let's look at that. This is applicable to A350 aircrafts, and it was apparently prompted by a manufacturing that found improper application of fastener retorque process. So, there was miss in the production process, or there was an error or miss something. So, which they found that, yeah, if that fasteners were not tightened properly, it could lead to insufficient clamping, and then the unsafe condition. Let's look at that. So, what is unsafe? So, the unsafe condition could lead to clamping and potential is the aircraft structural integrity. So if the issue that was found at that time or that component, if it's not fixed, it could lead to compromising structural integrity. So let us see if we can find a bit more details of this. So I'll take the docket again. So hopefully I'll get some service bulletin or some other information within the docket. So there is a service bulletin there. So this is a mandatory service bulletin, as you can see here. And so the title of this is that for the wings to modify the fasteners in the lower panel belly fairing fittings. The service bulletin will go into quite a full detail, is affected component, what needs to be done and all. So I'm just putting a pointer here that engineers can access this information and improve your knowledge of the understanding of the structure. It will give you where exactly the problem is and what are the affected aircrafts, the history of it, what is the objective of the service bulletin, which is to kind of, which is enforced by the AD, Airworthiness Directive. So the actions that need to be done, you need to replace the fasteners and then tighten it or, take some corrective action. So here is the kind of activity. So I'm not going to go into the details of this. The important thing is you would get quite a lot of good information about that particular structure, how that structure is attached, what are the different types of bolts and nuts used, and whether it is clearance fit or not. So The purpose of making this video, this live stream, is mainly to point out that this is the information that is available for the engineers out there to improve your knowledge. So that's the main aspect of this video. So to tell you that that information is available within the FAA website. So the other aspect the other two regulatory bodies that I'm going to briefly look at is the EASA and DGCA. So let me look at the DGCA one. Sorry, EASA one. So EASA publishes the airworthiness directives within this website here. Again, when I click on that, the main page itself. So it is a list of all the airworthiness directives, and you can pick up any one of them. So generally, there will be ADs that are kind of repeated in both FAA and EASA when the aircrafts are flying in both continents. So let me take one of them. So just pick up that seats one. So it looks like this is a airworthiness directive to replace the seats for Goodrich cabin attendant seats installed on these aircrafts. The AD was prompted by the report that the track attachments used on certain number seats are non-compliant. So the track attachment was not good. So that needs to be changed. So as I said earlier, the important thing is what is unsafe. If it is not fixed, the cabin attendant seat can detach from the aeroplane, and it could lead to injury or blocked exit during the emergency evacuation. So here, obviously, unfortunately, in EASA world, you don't get much information about the service bulletins or what is the background information beyond this. If there is an equivalent FAA airworthiness directive, you can go there and obtain more information. So, for example, here, the FAA docket being referred to here is this. So let me have a quick look and see if I can pull out the docket and see what cabin parts, what cabin seats that are affected. So yeah, there are few service bulletins that are requested, published there. So if I open one of them, so that's the service bulletin, and quickly scroll through that. So it gives you the information of, so that's the seat, cabin attendant seat, and so it is identifying some of the fasteners there, and what needs to be done, like remove these fasteners and reinstall them, and yeah, there will be some additional information within that which I'm not going to go through this. So that's how you can get more information about the ADs and the service bulletins within the EASA world as well. Now, a brief look at the airworthiness directives published by the DGCA. So, DGCA website, you can go and if you can click on the aeroplane, and then comes down to the bottom of airworthiness directives here. So, if you click here, and you can go to the recent one probably, which is for the non-rotating swash plate of one of the. So let's see what it is. So this one is applicable to Dhruv helicopters. What is the required action? So it needs one-time check on those plates. Obviously, it gives a bit more information. What is the reason why that AD needs to be there, and what are the compliance requirements? When and how we need to take into account. So that's all I wanted to kind of briefly talk about in the airworthiness directives today. I hope you like the video. If you'd like to see more detailed explanation of any particular topic, please leave it in the comments and subscribe to our channels. Thank you.